Hi, my name is Kim Dotson, and today I would like to talk to you about the science of reading, early literacy instruction, and support for struggling readers. So what exactly is the science of reading? In 1997, Congress appointed a national reading panel to review reading research and determine the most effective methods for teaching reading. They reviewed over 100,000 studies conducted over 40 years and analyzed them to see what techniques actually worked in teaching children to read. The research was conducted by professionals in numerous fields to include cognitive psychology, neuroscience, and linguistics in locations around the world encompassing multiple languages and cultures. The panel concluded that written language is a code, and students must be taught the skills necessary to break this code in order to read and comprehend what they are reading. This resulted in evidence-based approaches for teaching and a formula for reading comprehension. In order to comprehend reading, students must first master decoding and language comprehension. Reading instruction is not a one-size-fits-all situation. Because of this, response to intervention, a multi-tiered instructional plan used to ensure that all students receive the individual support they need to become efficient readers has been developed. There are 3 tiers to RTI. Screenings, assessments, and teacher observations are all used to determine which tier a student will be placed in for instruction. The end goal is for all students to be reading at grade level no later than 3rd grade. Tier 1 is the least intensive tier and includes the entire class for at least 90 minutes a day. The core reading program is taught in Tier 1, and those who receive instruction solely in Tier 1 read at or above grade level. Tier 2 is for those students who scored below benchmark on assessments. It is conducted in small groups lasting anywhere from 10 to 40 minutes per day. This instruction is in addition to their Tier 1 instruction and places an emphasis on word reading skills. For those who score well below benchmark or fail to improve in Tier 2, they are placed in Tier 3. Tier 3 offers highly systematic and explicit instruction in a small group setting. The 60 to 90 minutes per day of instruction is in addition to Tier 1 and Tier 2 instruction. Thanks to the science of reading, we know that there are 5 key elements of reading instruction. These include phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and reading comprehension. These skills are sequential, and each must be mastered for a student to continue onto the next with success. Now let's take a deeper look at the 5 elements I mentioned a moment ago. For each element, I will discuss instructional strategies, assessment of skills, and what additional support you can provide for students who are struggling. Phonemic awareness is first. Phonemic awareness involves 2 key skills, segmenting and blending. Segmenting is the act of breaking apart spoken words into individual phonemes. A student would take the word cat and break it into 3 phonemes, k, at. Blending, on the other hand, is the ability to put individual phonemes together to form a word. You take the 3 phonemes, k, at, and blend them together to form the word cat. When it comes to phonemic instruction, there are many strategies that can be used. Teachers should teach phoneme sounds, which there's 41 to 44 of them. They should incorporate wordplay, practical exercises like rhyming or clapping out syllables, and they should also teach voiced, unvoiced, stop, and continuous sounds. Teachers should utilize hand signals, starting a loop before a word starts, and going to each letter sound, having students follow along. They can integrate phonemic instruction into daily activities, have students write the letter sounds, use my turn together, your turn format, which is teacher would model, class would do it together with the teacher, and then the students would do it by themselves. Manipulatives are also great tools to be added. For phonemic awareness assessments, there is a focus on 3 areas: identifying initial sounds, segmenting individual phonemes, and blending. Throughout the year, student progress should be monitored. When children are placed in Tier 2 or Tier 3, you can implement the following procedures or practices to help them succeed. Stretch out and connect sounds when segmenting, reduce background noise, pull students to a quiet area to avoid distraction, work in small groups, incorporate manipulatives, and work on the early sequential skill that's not mastered. Next up is phonics. At the foundation of phonics lies the alphabetic principle. This is recognition of the idea that there are systematic and predictable relationships between written letters or graphemes and spoken sounds, phonemes. It is key that students grasp this principle. There are 4 different approaches to phonics instruction: synthetic, analytic, analogy, and phonics through spelling. Synthetic phonics is the one most recommended, and research shows that students do better when they've learned through this system of phonics. To teach phonics, some best practices are using letter sound drill, hand signals, avoid adding the schwa to stop sounds, using my turn together, your turn, and eventually students will be able to do some of the following skills. Teachers should also avoid picture and context clues as it causes students to guess on words. They should calibrate think time before they expect an answer, giving at least 3 seconds for the child to answer. And again, there are some more skills that students will eventually be able to do. When teaching phonics, it's best to teach in a sequential order, with each new skill building upon the last. For example, looking at this slide, you can see how an educator might introduce new phonics skills in the classroom, starting off with CVC words, which are pretty easy to comprehend, and eventually going on to suffixes and prefixes. Phonics assessments focus on lexical retrieval skills, letter sound correspondence, and spelling. Frequent practice and repetition are essential for those students who require Tier 2 or Tier 3 support, as well as small groups in a quiet location. You can use computer-assisted instruction, and of course, lots of praise. Next, we have reading fluency. Reading fluency is ever-changing, dependent on the text, familiarity of the words included in the text, and the amount of experience reading the text. When learning fluency, students should be able to read text expressively. Prosody, or the music of speech, is the ability to read orally using appropriate phrasing, intonation, and attention to punctuation. This is a skill that may be difficult for English language learners, and therefore they may need extra support in this area. Text selection is something that a lot of consideration should go into. If text is too hard for students or at their frustration level, they could become discouraged. Reading materials can be placed into 3 categories: independent, which means they would read at 97% accuracy, instructional, read at 90% accuracy, or frustration level, which would be below 90% accuracy. Oral reading not only allows teachers to hear how a student is reading, but also allows students to hear their peers read. Oral reading should always be at the independent level, with at least 50% of the text being nonfiction. During oral reading, teachers should take note of any errors made and correct them on the spot. Reteaching of any rules or skills should be done as needed, and it's best to practice any missed words before having students reread the text. Research shows us that most oral reading practices frequently used in the past are not beneficial to emergent readers. Many schools have chosen to replace these outdated practices with a new oral reading method backed by evidence-based results. Successful, anxiety-free, engaged reading, or SAFER for short, eliminates many of the pitfalls of earlier methods like round-robin or popcorn reading. During SAFER, students are grouped homogenously and are called on in random order to read passages of no more than 3 sentences. All students are expected to follow along in the text with their fingers, and reading materials selected for SAFER reading are at the reader's independent reading level, and students must meet the goal of reading the text with 97% accuracy before continuing on. The text will be reread until the goal is met. When it comes to fluency, frequent, repeated oral reading is key. There are many different activities that can be used to incorporate oral reading, like repeated reading, partner reading, and reader's theater. Assessments for fluency typically involve students reading orally for 1-minute intervals 3 times. The words they read correct per minute are then counted, resulting in a fluency score. For students requiring support in Tier 2 or Tier 3, teachers should set ambitious rates of growth for students in Tier 3, reread stories in small groups, provide lots of extra practice, and they could use text-to-speech assistive technology, and for English language learners, teach rhythmic features in spoken English. Now let's take a look at the 4th element of reading, instruction vocabulary. There are 2 ways of teaching vocabulary, directly and indirectly. Examples of direct instruction include examples, synonyms, graphic organizers, and modeling. Indirect teaching can have students learn vocab using context clues, morphemic analysis, and dictionary use. Research tells us that we should teach no more than 8 to 10 new words per week. Being restricted to such a limited number of words means that the words we choose to teach are important. Teachers should focus on 3 types of words: useful, important, and difficult, and those essential to the meaning of the text they will be reading. When teaching vocabulary, it helps to make it relevant to your students. Use their names when using vocab words in a sentence or reference something you know about the student. For example, when teaching the new word reluctant, you might say, Emily was reluctant to give her baby brother Sam a piece of candy. Using text talk is also an effective strategy for teaching vocabulary. And again, practice is key. The more encounters a child has with the word, the more they will remember it and incorporate it into their own vocabulary. Some examples of ways to get vocab practice in are to teach common types of vocab questions, context, synonyms, multiple meanings. Teachers should incorporate games and activities. Make reading or learning vocabulary fun. There are a plethora of games out there that can be used to teach and review vocab. For students who speak English as a second language, you may need to provide extra instruction on the difference between literal and figurative meanings. Assessments for vocab include standardized, norm-reference vocab, expressive, curriculum-based, and true-false multiple choice. Students in Tier 2 and 3 need additional vocab instruction throughout the day. Be sure to not only teach new words, but constantly review previously taught words so that students may retain what they have learned. Finally, we come to comprehension, the ultimate goal of reading instruction. Students must master each of the previously discussed reading elements in order to get to the point where they can understand the meaning behind the words they are reading. With mastery of this skill, students begin to read for fun. There are 4 factors that affect comprehension: the text, the reader, the activity, and the context. This makes comprehending text extremely complex. Therefore, effective comprehension instruction should take all 4 into account. There are numerous strategies educators can use to help children with reading comprehension. A highly effective method is to model good comprehension skills by using a my turn approach or think alouds. This is where the teacher thinks aloud while reading the story, asking questions, commenting on what they think will happen next, etc. This helps students observe what questions and thoughts they themselves should be having. Questioning is another important strategy when building reading comprehension. A great place to start is with the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, and why. When asking these questions to students, be sure to emphasize the W word. For example, who went to the park? What did she do at the park? Why did they have to leave the park? Allow students enough time to think about the question, a minimum of 3 seconds. Adjusting think time is needed. Graphic organizers are another useful tool for teaching reading comprehension. Comprehension instruction should occur before, during, and after reading a text. Students can also be taught to monitor their own performance, resulting in improved reading. Doing so, they can use fix-up strategies like looking words up in a dictionary or doing more research on the internet when they don't understand. There are numerous assessments used to check reading comprehension progress. Students' background knowledge, metacognitive skills should be assessed in addition to skills in accuracy and fluency, text structure, and literal and inferential text. Close and maze assessments are commonly used for comprehension screening and progress monitoring. While they vary in format, both assessments have students read passages with missing words, and it's their job to replace the word. For those struggling in Tier 3, it may be best to introduce an intensive, direct instruction reading comprehension program like corrective reading comprehension. There are many accommodations that we can use to enhance comprehension instruction for Tier 3 students. Whew, that was a lot of info to process. I hope everyone was able to learn something new and take away several great strategies and tools to implement in your own classrooms. We all know the importance of teaching and early literacy and how what we do today will have a lasting impact on each of our students' lives. I will leave you with a quote I found from former President Barack Obama. He says, "Reading is the gateway for children that makes all other learning possible." By understanding the science of reading and implementing scientifically backed instructional methods in our classrooms, we can help our students open their gates and provide them with the foundation they need for future success. Thank you for your time.